Then we're going to move on to the definition board, and it's really just a listing of your word and the definition. My comment here would be, when you're in your dictionary, which I recommend Webster's dictionary versus Oxford, we learned some interesting information about Oxford, but Merriam-Webster, the writer, was a Christian, and so you'll get some more Christian-based definitions in that dictionary, so I recommend that one. So when you're in there, scroll through every single definition, read them until you find one that goes with the context of our word. While you're looking, continually say in your mind your words. Be thinking, always have your verse on your mind when you're going through this. Make sure that it fits. And if there's 13 different definitions for it, read all 13 and then go beyond that, because you'll find synonyms at the end of that. And then you can move over to the thesaurus within the Webster Dictionary and find more synonyms and definitions of those synonyms. And everything that is underlined or in blue or orange, you can click on it and immediately get the definition. So I just put your word here, write out the definition. If you have a linking definition, like if it says to the full and you were working on wholly and you want to look up full right then and there, maybe draw an arrow down here, and this is the definition now for full on the second line, even though you were working on wholly. So just find ways like that to organize this. And like I said, if you're not wanting to write initially in here because you want to keep it clean and organized, then you can write on paper and then come back and fill it in here once you get it all organized. So then when you're working on your definitions, like I said in that example, it was full, but say your word was holy, you could come back over here and fill in your synonym under holy and put full. So now you're working on this, what I call a word bank, the synonym listing here for your words. So as you're doing definitions, you're going to come back here and fill in this word bank over here. So you're going to go back and forth between the pages like that, even though they're in some order. You can move back and forth as you go. So once we get all the definitions and words that we're going to use, we've kind of figured out, okay, this word has a lot of meaning within this verse, so I really want to focus on that word. But then I found all these other words that really kind of mean that word. They just expand on the definition. So those are your secondary words. So then when we come over here to the word map, which might be one of the more confusing pieces in here, and it really shouldn't be, it's just a map, a way to organize, like we said at the definition of a map. It's just a way to organize all of the research that you've done up to this point. So you're going to take your definitions and your synonyms, and now we're going to fill this out. In this middle, you're going to put the verse. Then these right here are your main keywords. So you can see this is one. See the arrow here? That is one grouping. Then this right here is another grouping. And then down here is another grouping. So follow the arrows. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potential words that you could put in here. And potential is the best word because you may not have that many, and that's okay. Just because they're here doesn't mean you have to fill it out. And I think a lot of people that have gone through this felt like, well, there's another spot here and I don't have another word. I need to fill that out. Well, you can try. You can go and search some more for additional words and fill it out if you want, but it's not necessary. I've even done that myself. You know, I'm like, oh, I need one more word. I've got, you know, I want to fill this whole thing out. But, you know, this is just a guide. There's no way I could possibly know how many words that we're going to come up with for every single verse. It's just not set up that way. If you end up with extra words, you might have more than this. Like, say if you're right here and there's a word and you had more words that defined that one word, just write it up here, draw an arrow, and then circle that. So you know it goes with this word. If it goes with this one, then draw an arrow, write it out, and then circle it there so you know it goes with that one. That's usually how mine end up being. They're like arrows and circles all over the place, and sometimes I'm like, oh wait, this one actually goes with this one too. So I've got arrow drawn over here. Starts to look kind of crazy, but that's the fun in this, and it helps you start organizing and realizing associations of the words and fullness of the words that you're looking up. And it really pulls all your verses, which we're about to do, and concepts throughout the Bible, Old Testament through the New Testament. It pulls them all together, and it makes this thread throughout the whole Bible, and that's just the way that the word works. So that's how this keyword map works. Verse, keywords, other secondary words that explain the keywords.